Hello, everyone. We're still in Manitoba, which is great. The gathering we began yesterday is still ongoing, and we're still meeting with ones. So, having said that, we're still here, and with each gathering is different, and as we mentioned before, the way we don't operate is on an agenda. We operate on the divine agenda with how each gathering evolves and occurs. So we're still here in Manitoba, and which is beautiful. And to give you a little bit of an update, the individuals that we have come into contact with, which are we're all connected, it very impressive here. Not only are these um, at least a couple of these individuals, let's say, not only are they recognized as professionals, perhaps with credentials in the 4D world, but very advanced and very intelligent as well. And I will say I'm totally impressed and with the yeah, with who has attended thus far. Now, this gathering has taken on a whole different, exciting, if you will, and interesting caliber, or it's all mixed. Let me say that. I just couldn't find the correct word. But with this, also, we are meeting healers that are here, and the team is getting some physical healing and understanding how that works more. So, altogether, we are combining healing techniques and doing things with each other and learn more about that, which we pass on as we go down the road. The transfer of codes here, and let's say the healing that occurred last night, and part of the team, they did not go to bed till 6 o'clock this morning. So I'm very busy, all of us, with this, and that's why I said this is a short Ascension Caravan update. That's why I titled it like this. Now, having said that, not only with the gatherings are we so busy, and with the interaction of others, and this is part of the reason why we're not even taping, or recording, or even have a video of the gatherings, because these gatherings, they go on for hours as well. And we could put out segments of it, but no, no one wants to be listening of this. So those are one of the reasons. And uh, I feel comfortable with this, and I hope you do as well, that we just continue on as we're doing now. So that is great. Um, what else was I seeing the advancement with the collaboration and sharing of gifts and the energy as well, and we're receiving confirmations there. Also, we're doing energetic work in this area as well. We went to Lake Winnipeg and did a short ceremony with our energy there to purify that. And it's like it was when we were at God Lake in Alberta, where we did that important ceremony. And for anyone that's skeptical, I will say at the God Lake, that lake had a lot of algae in it. And anyone that's familiar with what algae eats, it's toxins. And when you find a lot of an algae in a lake, it's because there's a lot of food supply there for it, mainly the toxins. So algae is one of Mother Nature's ways, along with beautiful, all species of mushrooms, at cleaning the ground and the waters. With the just going back to the Alberta gathering, and when we were called out to Alberta Beach to God's Lake there, um, Helen can attest, and the other ones that were there, but Helen was the one that pointed it out. The day before we did um, the cleansing, that we saw a boat go by, and all you could see was the thick green sludge in the lake, and it was far out from shore. And so we did our energetic clearing and our blessing of the lake, and the next day, Helen and I were by the shore by Mayhew's, where she hosted us for a couple of days. And Helen said, "Look, out at the lake, there was a boat going by, and all of the water was white. It was not green." So, a very, very beautiful confirmations of what we do. So, we're healing areas, also opening portals, and we are also doing. We found ourselves here doing some 5D grid work as well, which was very important and needed to be done in more aligning the 5D grid. So, significance with that. So, we anticipate to be here for another night, perhaps, because we do have one or more that will be coming later on. So, hey, buddy. So, with the gathering, it's extended, and then we're moving towards Thunder Bay. And I put out the post for towards Thunder Bay. If there's anyone along that route between Winnipeg and Thunder Bay, as long as it's not uh, too far off course, if you wish, get in touch with us as we're coming through, and we may be able to possibly meet if it's not too far off. So at this time, we don't have any in the Thunder Bay area. We don't have any gatherings scheduled. We don't have any interest. And if that does not appear, we are going towards Toronto. And now in Toronto area, it's quite possible we may have three different ones within a maybe a couple 100-mile radius, if you will. So these things are still setting up. And again, we've been very busy, and we tentatively scheduled everything to go forward. However, we are going forward with a divine plan where a lot of times we're on a need to know basis, and sometimes we don't schedule too far ahead because we need to wait for certain things. So that's why everything is tentative, and I'm sure that most of you know that that's how it works. So we are doing that. Currently, behind the scenes, there are big things occurring as well, and on several fronts, not just one. And I believe a divine masculine that attended the gathering today, he mentioned that uh, the amount of indictments is now perhaps around 160,000, maybe. The last time I looked, it was like 100,000. So for it to be rising that high, if that's the actual number right now, but we did know it's rising. What that's going to be doing is implicating many other aspects up there into Canada as well, because it's all connected in globally, is what you will see with it. And with Trump, when he signed the executive order to bring even U.S. citizens back to stand before their crimes, that's all inclusive, that's globally. And let me say with this, it's not just Trump that is running this. We have the galactics that are here as well, and everything's assured that this does go the way that it must go, and also that it does not drag on. So I will not say too much in lines with that. Now, also at this particular time, any of you that came into your awareness in the past about perhaps some form of a sovereignty degree or decree for yourself. I strongly suggest that if you have not done just some sort of a paper, just saying that, it would be great to have something on paper. And having said this, also, I wish to let you know it's great to have something on paper and witness, but also a verbal contract needs can be and let's say will be accepted as well. But it's always great to have a piece of paper on hand. So you do what you're guided to do and what you feel to do. Now, and the reason I'm touching on that, we are in the early stages of integrating more fully the sovereignty uh, status of each, the divine sovereignty, into the timelines. And it needs to begin somewhere. So, what I am sharing with you is that it is beginning on a wider scale. Now, behind the scenes with all of the other things, there are sovereign groups that are already in place, have their papers done, are recognized. And let me just say the Jesuits and the Vatican and all of that ridiculous foolishness that we're here to take out, they know that they must comply with these original written documents as well. So what I'm saying, it's great to have a material document, not only a verbal. We're all free, of course, but maybe great to have some of these material documents in regards to that. And yes, we are approaching those levels. Any of you that you're up to speed on this, you see Kevin Annett running, let's say, as a sovereign, perhaps independent here, even in the political election in Canada. It shows you great things are coming. So, and that it's factual. It's not an illusion, and it's not. Again, it's not conspiracy theorist. It's actually conspiracy fact. Conspiracy that the people are no longer standing for the conspiracy, the conspiratory governments and the elites the way they were. So again, it's all coming down. It's very rapidly imploding. In lines for, let's say, the RV, there is more concrete documents coming out supporting that that is coming to fruition. Also, you are watching the markets, which are very important. And as we know, with a reset to the currencies to par, the stock markets will no longer be the way they were before. And also with your commodities as well. And many great changes coming in respect to that. And let's also say in your very near futures, there is no requirement also for stock markets as the QFS is integrated fully and recognized globally. Once that comes into fruition, it takes out the disparity of wealth fully. And what it also does, it devaluates money as a whole. And this allows for humanity to transition and take their respectful place in accordance with universal law and all creation, of where I'd mentioned this before when we were first awakened in 2010, 2012, the main bunch of us, on the larger scales, that at that time we were about 116 years Gaia was behind where it should have been, in conjunction with all of the other souls in other forms throughout the universe. So a quick thing on that. So, but since that time, I believe the last try to make myself a little bit more presentable here. I got a nice curl up there. Anyways, since that time, we have expedited things that let's say we're at any moment that we can be caught up to speed with what you consider first contact and other things as well. So, hey, buddy, please be quiet. Thank you. And so many cool things occurring. So presently, I took this time as some of the party of the gatherings, they actually went to an area to do a clearing on a place of some negative entities and some other things. So that is very great. A sort of a ghost busting, if you will, and changing things there and changing up the energy. So just taking a moment. Sharon, you wish to say hi? Here's Sharon. Woo! So yeah, so we just took a few moments out. I am very busy, as most of you know. There's so much going on, and especially with the sovereignty thing and things I need to have in place to share with others. And we're making more contacts, and everything is escalating in good ways as we transverse across Canada, and everything is always a success, and we keep going forward. So I thank you all so much for your support, the whole team we do at allowing to keep us going here as we are doing, which is very great. And, you know, at any moment, I anticipate things to change very quickly for all of us, all of you included. So the thing is, we keep going forward towards it, and it occurs when it does. And really, no one can put a date on these things, but again, we do know it's very close because we're having concrete confirmations coming into this reality. So we continue forward, and that's what we're doing. So great. Anyone again down? Anyone along Ontario? PM us. We're going towards. We have Sault Ste. Marie, I believe, for tentatively next weekend around the 17th. Anyone in that area will be putting out. I believe we already have a host, um, but we'll see what occurs with that. So that will. It'd be Thunder Bay, perhaps, if anyone in that area, but so far no one has expressed any interest, so it may not be anything until Sault Ste. Marie around the 17th. However, in between time, along the route, any of you uh, powerful ones that wish to get together, we just stop because the way we tentatively planned the trip out is that each stop on a weekend and with perhaps, a full day's driving to get between each stop. And what that does, that frees up, other days to meet with perhaps ones along the route on an individual basis so that we can be the most effective as we can be. Now, one other point with this, we have with us posters to put up for one's just awakening. We have not used those only once. We put those out around Edmonton, however, uh, that we had put a couple out. But what I am saying, and a couple, I think, up around Kelowna just to try it, but there was no effect from that. What we're doing as well is this is kind of a more specialized empowerment of certain individuals. So it's not like big groups with this. What will occur is that, as we share everything we have with our energy and codes and knowledge as we keep going, then behind us, these places should be expanding further as well in consciousness and great change. So we just keep going along and empowering each up to that effect. So I guess that pretty well sums it up. And oh, the Lions Gate, yeah. So I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope there's always great energy going on with that out there, and I hope all experiences are very heightened, and you're feeling the energy and the downloads. I believe I checked the sun. There was a couple photonic light supports coming from that for this time. Nothing major, but enough. So great, and yeah. So happy Lions Gate and all of this. I'm just checking a few messages. And Marie Anecdote, is Ottawa on your list at all? She asked. Yeah, I believe we have. What did we do? I'd have to look, Marie. Um, I'd have to look. I believe we put the Ottawa area as a tentative stop as well. We may not have. May not have. We have Quebec City and Montreal, and I believe in New Brunswick we tentatively put maybe Bathurst or Fredericton, and then maybe if we need to end up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and then if we need to, perhaps Europe, and then back to the U.S. However, at this time, we have others doing the same things as we're doing. For instance, in Europe, I see Marcos Lopos, which is amazing as well. He's speaking, put himself up for public speaking on these subjects in Europe, which is beautiful. And I see Todd Medina and Morgan Lee. They are currently in California, and I believe their anticipation is to go across the U.S. from west to east. So those are only a few that I'm beginning to see that are going and gathering and connecting and sharing the gifts, which is so great at this time. And also, all of you that are watching this, have your own gatherings, put out the information. It's so important because you have so much to share with each other. So don't hesitate and wait for, some of the ones like us going around to come to you. Do what you feel, you wish to do, and create your own gatherings as well. It empowers everyone, and that's also what this is about, sharing the energy and empowering each to the fullest. So you have two or three together, it's very powerful, and many nice things occurs, and beneficial for all. Yes, DNA downloads, Kathy Kaufman says. Yeah. And Anna, yeah, we have groups in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Yeah, and we'll see what transpires there too, Anna, with this. I did not anticipate be doing this too long because we only needed it to get to such a degree. And where we're at here right now, to see the sovereignty thing moving in more fully into the timeline, to see the RV more concrete news on that coming in. We are at the threshold here of great change, and it's happening again very quickly. So that's why I say tentatively that we may not need to go very far with it. The last report I got from Father, if you will, Divine Council, and I believe this was maybe about a month ago, is that for the most part, most of us would be staying here for a year or two to also keep things tweaked up and assure that it's steered in the most efficient and beneficial way. So, having said that, it's looking like a few of us will, or most of us will be staying here for a bit. And again, it's on an individual basis. Every soul, whatever's in your soul contract, some of you may be staying here for 20 years, some, you might be leaving in a year or so. It's just so many different individual soul contracts, and we don't need to know that. The only thing we need to know is to keep moving forward and do what we're doing, and it happens. So that's about it. So great. I'll let you go. I love you all. Kisses and winks, and we're doing it. And if any one of you that wasn't at a gathering, if you were coming along with us, yeah, you would see how important that this is, what we're doing, and you get the results and the confirmations, not only in the individuals, but also in the areas where we go in. Like I can look up here today and not see a chemtrail as well. When we first come here, there were a few. We're close to Winnipeg, and to be able to look up at the pretty blue skies again without seeing that, and seeing lakes, yeah, before your eyes being purified, it's authentic and that it's not BS. So it's we get confirmation throughout. We don't need the confirmations, but it's very beautiful when we do get them so that we can share them with you as well. So again, I've been pretty busy. The team, we have been all busy doing things, and I have some things piling up I need to write about, and some more research on some goodies that are coming up. So bear with us, and we'll get out what we can when we can. Thanks, Judith Nolan. She says, love you, Rick, Sharon, and Helen so much. And we love you as well, Judith. And Judith Nolan, she participated in the ceremony at God's Lake there that we cleaned up. Very powerful, and yeah, very beautiful. Okay, so I'm going. Love you. Wink. Peace. And we're doing it. And thank you so much. And have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Lionsgate that continues on, as you know, for several days. We're in a very heightened period. So it goes on to all inclusive up to at least the 22nd, but where we're changing things so quickly, we may keep in that groove for much longer. We'll see what occurs. So great. Love you and thank you and bye. Have a great evening.